everyone, I am Manisha and welcome back to my channel which is BioLibrary, and welcome back to the people who are already associated with me since a long time, and for people who are newcomers or they have recently joined, welcome back to you too. Welcome to you too in fact. And a little bit of introduction about myself. Hi, I'm Manisha Sharma and I have consecutively qualified 2 times NET, 1 time JRF and some of the PhD interviews. If you want to know about me, like you want to know more about me, that who I am, like my testimony, so please jump to the about of this YouTube channel and get to know about what are the exams which are qualified by me, or what are the PhD interviews which I have qualified. So okay, fine. Enough about the introduction part, and let's talk about today's topic, which is both very much demanded as well as very interesting. Yes, you guessed it right, because I was taking a lot of time to release this video. It is about SOP, also called as motivation letter, which is both like statement of purpose, motivation letter. These are the same things. Also, I want to request you guys to just do not skip any part of this video, because not because of clickbait, not for the what do you say, like the publicity of the channel, not for anything like that. It is for the only fact that every other line of this video is attached with the preceding line. Okay, so it is very important. There is a lot of connection between the lines in this video, in the SOP video. Okay, so also in this video I will be doing both. One is I'll be orally presenting you, and also because there are a lot of terms, therefore I will be attaching one presentation which is again presented by me with this video, and also will share one SOP, mock SOP by me. Okay, my SOP. Okay, and I request you guys to do not copy that. Just take out the words, take out the information, the gist which you feel like adding to your SOP, but do not just entirely copy that SOP. Okay, so let's start with this. As like always, I have done one thing, that I have divided this SOP video into 4 subsequent questions. First one is, what is SOP, right? Second one is, what do you need to think, what do you need to, how to start about writing an SOP for a person who's completely naive. So how to start writing an SOP. Third one is my favorite, which is how SOP is different from your resume, like how SOP is different from your CV. Fourth question is, what do you need to justify via SOP, right? Okay, so let's start with the first question then. So the first question is, what is SOP? So SOP, as I mentioned in my Instagram channel as well, like the Instagram page as well, I call everything a channel. So on my Instagram page, I talked about SOP. So SOP is, it's simply a piece of paper that which is supposed to tell what is your intention to do the research, what is your motivation to do the research, and why do you want to do the research. So it will tell about, basically about your personality. So it's a piece of paper which is supposed to tell about your motivation, intention, as well as what do you want to take out from the particular program you want to do. Also, see, it's not always like that you are the only person who is applying for the institute or who is applying for the position. Like this time also, a lot of students have qualified CSI, a lot must be having DBT JRF and could have skipped the PhD admissions. So they're also applying for the same universities, same institutions which you are applying. So this SOP also need to it is also supposed to tell that faculty that you are an eligible candidate. Based upon what? Based upon your academic experience, based upon what are the project experiences you have had, and also based upon if you have led any team. So also based upon all these 3 things, it will tell the faculty that okay, fine, if let's suppose that 300 students have applied there, then the faculty will just look at your SOP based upon your academic experience. If your academic experience or the project work you have done, or like the interest you are showing just is complementary to the work that faculty is doing, then the faculty will get he'll be convinced, he or she will be convinced by the fact that okay, fine, he or she is the potential candidate. So this is about SOP. And the second question was what? The second question was, if you are naive, right? If you're writing it for the first time, so what do you need to do? So take a blank paper. Okay, like this is very trivial. I'm so sorry, I'm sweating just because it's very, very, very like hot, humid, or whatever you can say. So yeah, So what do you need to do? You need to take out one piece of paper, brainstorm ideas, like brainstorm what are the different things, what are different areas you want to work in. Like the other day I was talking to one girl and she was saying that, mom, my interest or the field I want to go for is molecular biology. And I'm telling you honestly this fact that if I talk to people, like if I talk to 10 people, then out of them 8 people are interested in working in molecular biology. So I mean, I am assuming it is because of the fact that molecular biology can lead to a solution in a lesser time as compared to the conventional techniques or the conventional work we used to do earlier, right? So that's why molecular biology. And yeah, so first one is brainstorm ideas. Think about the ideas, different ideas where you want to work. Like many students, they want to work on cancer research. I have talked to a lot of students and they are interested in cancer research, and there could be some motivation behind it. Like for initially when I was working, as I worked in PGI Lucknow as well. So when I went to PGI Lucknow, as my background is from botany, but I went there, went in a medical institute just to work on cancer. And what was my motivation behind that? Because 2 women in my family were diagnosed with cervical cancer, which is the cervix is the mouth of the uterus. You guys know that, right? And because of HPV, there in India there is a prevalent cancer which is called as cervical cancer. So I wanted to work on that. My motivation was because I have had some experiences. Where I've seen people getting rid of this entire organ just because of the cancer happening in a small part, happening in the mouth of the cervical area, and because of which they have to get rid of their entire uterus, and which poses a lot of problem to the women. So that was my motivation to work on research. Just think about the fact that what is your unique story, why do you want to go for that field. So first one is brainstorm ideas, like what do you want to work on. The second thing is what makes you you, like what is your unique story. Why do you want to just go behind one topic for, let's say, it's not always 5 years, right? It's not always like your PhD gets completed or concluded in 5 years. So it can take 6 to 7 years also. So you need to be very confident of the fact that the question you're chasing is coming from somewhere. Like you have had some experience, you have had some motivation to work on that field in for that much longer area. So what is your unique story? What makes you you? And also the fourth thing can be very common. If you don't have any of these, if you don't have any prior motivation of working in that field, then only one thing remains, that you have done some project, or you have heard about some topic, or you are interested because of the news into some topic, and that comes under your experience. You have had some experience. That experience could be some seminar held in your institute, and you visited some scientist, you visited some institution. So that is experience, right? So brainstorm ideas, what makes you you, write your unique story. Like you need to write 4 to 5 ideas on which you can work. Second thing is what makes you you, like what is your unique story, why do you want to chase a single question for like 6 to 7 years. And third thing is your experience, right? Where is this motivation coming from? Okay, let's jump to the third question, which is my favorite, as I told you. That is how your SOP is different from resume. See, what happens is, just what students think is, like, this is resume, it is telling about yourself, right? And this is SOP, it is again telling about yourself. So they try to superimpose some of the words from here to here. But you can do that, of course you can do that, but what you don't have to do it is, in your SOP, do not clearly mention about your percentage. Okay, do not make it very clear to the other person. So do not clearly mention the percentage up until the time, or if it is even if it is mentioned on the website that you need to mention it, then only mention it. Otherwise do not mention your percentage. And the second thing is, in your resume, do not write about your background or your experience, where you're coming from, where this idea coming from, right? But in your SOP, this thing is included, that where this idea is coming from, what is your motivation, right? So do not just do that. And one more thing I want to tell about SOP is a bridge between what your past experiences as well as the future you want to build because of the because you want to pursue something at a particular institute. Let's take an example. Say for example, you want to go to IISc for research, okay, Indian Institute of Science, and you are coming from BHU, right? So it is Your SOP will be a bridge between whatever past experience you've had in BHU to whatever you're going to study in IISc, based on what you want to build your future. Like BHU plus IISc will make your future. So it's a bridge between your past experiences as well as the future you want to build, because you want to pursue at this university, right? I think this makes this SOP very clear, and in your resume you don't mention all these things, right? So this makes a lot clear. And even after I explain all these things, if you're left with some question, you can drop down here in the comment section. Also, if you feel shy that your comment will be public and what people will think if you ask this question, then you can go to the Instagram, type Manisha Sharma there. You will be taken to a page which is BARC ISRO Bio and PhD interviews. Then go to the DM section, DM me your question. I will definitely reply you within 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so you can ask there also. You can drop down in the comment section as well. Also, see, if this thing I'm doing, like I am recording this SOP video in English because some of the students are saying that it is very difficult for them to understand Hindi. Also, if it is difficult for you to understand English, you can again let me know, right? The way I'm speaking English, I can also speak Hindi. Like I belong to North. Hindi is my, of course, first language, so I can speak very well in Hindi. So you can let me know that if you are getting uncomfortable with English, then I can record in Hindi as well. Okay, so no worries about that. So let's come back to the topic I was talking about. So the fourth question was what is the need to write an SOP? Yeah, right. So fourth question is, what is the need to write an SOP? See, you have your CSIR or DBT certificate saying that okay, this girl or this boy has qualified JRF and the other person has the vacancy, so you both are complementary. Then why do you need to write on a piece of paper that I want to do it? What is the need, right? Justifiable question, right? So the need to write is, as see, for example, there are so many IITs, there are so many IISers, like IISc is only one, so there are so many institutes with the same name. So why would you want to go to a particular institute? Why in a particular institute you want to go to a particular faculty? Why with a particular faculty you want to work with a particular instrument? Why with a particular instrument you want to carve out what is happening in a particular situation or a particular problem? So these many particular things, like you have to become a lot specific. Therefore, you need to justify it via a piece of paper that in this particular institute, I want to go to this person. With this person, I want to work in this instrument. With this instrument, I want to take out solution for this particular problem, right? So that's why you need to write an SOP. And also, I was asked in one of the interviews that Manisha, will you're approaching me and I am known to publish paper, and is there anything in your mind that you will pressurize me for publishing paper? So this also happens, like you have heard about some faculty that this faculty gives PhD on time, this faculty publishes paper. So why do you want with that faculty? That this thing you don't have to write in SOP, but you can mention it orally that this is the reason that I am working with you. So this was the fourth question. What is the need to write an SOP? Also, after completing all these 4 points in a piece of paper, when you write everything, then do one thing: send it to some people whom you trust. Send it to like 3 to 4 people and tell them to grammatically correct you, as well as tell you what are the points they are thinking that they lack in the particular piece of paper, that lack in the SOP. Okay, reread again and again, read your SOP, proofread it very critically, and then only send it. And the only solution to all this is begin early. Say for example, if you have to submit your SOP after 10 days, 12 days, then do one thing: start writing right now. Okay, so this is the best time to write SOP. After this, whatever I will talk via presentation. Also in YouTube Shorts, I will upload some 8 sub parts of how to go about writing an SOP, because I think this is one piece of paper which can make or break your selection, right? It's not very prevalent in India like in your biology institutes, or it is important but not that important as it is in abroad, right? So because they want to trust you, right? You're coming from a different place, from a different nationality, so they want to trust you that you are good enough to work there. Okay, So when you go for MTech and all, it becomes very important because they ask you every bit of it, every bit of it. Also from your SOP, some people can take out questions during your interview. So be very cautious while writing it. Also, you can mail your SOP to me, which is at ujalavanshama@gmail.com, or to Telegram, because Insta, like the resolution problem happens there. There you can message me that you want your SOP to be correct or read by me. Again, I'm not an expert, but I can tell you some of the ideas. Okay, with this, I'll take your leave from here, and after this I will be adding one presentation to it, and I hope it becomes helpful to you. Kindly let me know, how my channel is helping you, how my efforts are helping you, or what are the improvements which needs to be done in this, right, in this domain. So thank you everybody for being this much patient, and I will also attach my SOP as a mock SOP to the presentation. So thank you and bye-bye. Everyone, you will be watching this presentation in continuation with the visual presentation where I told you, and I also told that I will be recording this presentation because there will be some technical terms which you must remember while writing SOP. So let's get started with that. How to write SOP? Just remove this N, okay? How to write SOP, okay? So first one is how to begin. As I told you in the presentation part also, keep in mind that you have to make a correlation between both of them, like the visual presentation as well as this presentation. Have to make a copy. I always emphasize on the fact that you have to make a copy, and you have to write down all the points. Just take out after that, do splicing, do filter out, and just take out only those points which resonate with you better, which will tell more about you better. Okay, so let's start. First one is how to begin writing about SAP. So I'm assuming that you know nothing about an SOP. Okay, so SOP is basically statement of purpose. Like, what is my purpose to teach? What is my purpose of this channel? Will be the statement of purpose for BioLibrary. Okay, so how to begin is first divide your SOP or the idea of writing an SOP into two parts. First one is why you, and second is why that institute. Like, it must be a correlation between both the things. One is why you should be chosen by the institute, and second, why did you choose the institute. Okay, so there should be a correlation between the two, and also there should be complementarity between the two. Like, if you are plus, then the institute, if you're minus, then the institute should complement you in the fact that it is providing you something which you are devoid of, and also you are providing the institute something which the institute is devoid of. Say that can be in the form of talent, in the form of skills, in the form of a better researcher, right? So next one is questions or doubts regarding SOP. These are the most common doubts. First is, what is SOP? See, sometimes what happens is a word or a sentence, it becomes so hyped that we either take it for granted or become fearful of this. So SOP is one of such things. I think there is plethora of information, there is a lot of information out there, but then also you wanted a video. That means that somewhere or the other the concept clarity is very less. Okay, or the reliance to other person, that the other person is saying something, but I can't rely that person. This thing is also there. So what I'll do, I'll share my SOP with you, and as you guys know that I was selected in multiple institutes. So also based on SOPC, what happens is they take an idea about you via your SOP. Much importance of SOP is when you apply to places where the competition is very high, or the places which are out of India. Because for out of India, I told you the factor is trust factor. They need to trust you that you are a good researcher. Whosoever they are allowing their country is a good researcher. And second, when you're applying to a big institute, say name big institutes like IITs, IISERs, IIScs, or any premier institutes for that matter. So what happens is the amount of students who come for the application or who apply there is very large. Therefore, to filter out, they need to read that what makes you better from the other applicant. Okay, so first one is what is SOP, and second is what is the need to write it, why do you have to write it. Okay, and third is why do you need to justify your worth via SOP when you have qualified exam. Of course, everybody says your eligibility is your CSIR exam, any national level exam which can grant you fellowship, But then why do you have to write it in the form of SOP, right? And nowhere it is written that you have to justify yourself via SOP. So where uh, from where this SOP culture started? So why do you need to justify your worth via SOP? So points to take care of. First, if suppose you are starting to write SOP, so first you need to remember that if word limit is there, be very cautious. See, this shows the casuality of a student, that the student is so casual. Even if you increase the word limit by one, you will be accountable as a casual student. Why? Because there was a word limit, right? And you're writing over computer, so it shows you the limit is reached, or like the uh, whatever the guidelines were, so you need to follow them strictly. B, do not make your marks obvious. This I think I told you earlier in the presentation part also. See, don't write your percentage, do not make it clear. Suppose you got 70% in your masters, okay, and after that you have gained a lot of knowledge, okay. So what happens is the other person judges you based on your marks also. So many a times they don't even bother to read the what are the accomplishments, what are your accomplishments after this marks, right? So do not make it very obvious, do not write your marks. Your marks can be 55%, and you can, then also you can be a very skillful person, okay. So don't make it very obvious until unless it's not mentioned. If it is mentioned that you have to write your academic scores, then do it very well. But if it's not written, then don't do it, okay. So length of SOP is directly proportional to a requirement. This I emphasize a lot because, say for example, they are asking you while writing the SOP for ISERs. Many students have asked about the SOP of ISER. So they give you what, this much of a box. I'll show you someday in my form. So there are only space for some 3 to 4 lines. You have to summarize your SOP. So you need to write, say for example, you are applying to a molecular biology lab, so you can write, this is the purpose of my research, these all are the equipments required for my research, your institute has these facilities, therefore I choose, or your institute is the best avenue for me, right? They are giving you the space of 4 lines only, so don't write much, or don't write above that. So length of SOP is directly proportional to the requirement. Then comes your reason. Why do you want to do PhD? See, SOP can be written for many purposes. First, when you're doing your MS research. Second, while you are applying for your MTech research. Third, when you're applying for your PhDs in India. And fourth one is when you're applying your PhD outside India. Also, some of the people ask SOP while you apply for projects, okay. So when you work in a large group, or a group which is very renowned, very famous group, then during your project also they ask for your SOPs. So your reason for doing this program could be, first one, what are the possibilities, or what all are the reasons which you can write there. First is, I already have gathered some knowledge in this field, but I feel it's not enough to be called as a specialist. This answer is both, guys. One, you can write it in your paper in the form of SOP. Also, if somebody asks you that why do you want to do PhD in this field only, so you can ask, or you can copy paste this answer. It's not made, it's something that comes from your heart. I have just put it down in the form of a sentence, okay. Okay, so then the question comes as, fine, you reached that institute. Say for example, you have reached so and so institute. Why particularly this lab? What is your vision to do work what is your vision after doing work from this lab? Okay, just make out a correlation between institute is fine, cut the institute, make out a correlation between the lab and the vision. And so this, I'm assuming that you have a blank paper, you are scribbling. So what you can do is just make out a correlation between your lab and the vision, okay. Blank paper, then do what, take out a blank paper and start with me, okay. So take a blank paper and begin. Why are you applying for this course? First one is, why do you want to do PhD? One, because everybody is doing. Second, because nothing is left. And third, because you want to do something, you are so passionate to read about something that you are ready to invest much of your time, like much of your biological time. So why are you applying for this course? Second is there any relation between your previous degree and this PhD, right? Say, for example, I have many times have told you that the story that I was a master in botany and then I went to a medical college like PGI Lucknow to work on cancer. So, was there any relation between my previous degree, that master's in botany, and PhD in medical sciences or medical microbiology for that matter? So, you need to figure out this correlation, this relation between your previous degrees and this PhD, because something or the other must have sparked your interest, okay, until unless it's a personal thing. And then comes again, I've repeated this because you're doing it this on a blank paper, so try to correlate between the lab and the vision, okay. And then comes some smart hacks. Do what if you're not you can't figure out why am I doing PhD in this subject only. Say, for example, there are many students, they think molecular biology is so glamorous. Many of students are like, I love molecular biology, even though like some of them don't even know the basic concepts of the molecular biology, but because the hype is created so much so that people think that it's molecular biology or nothing, right? So a smart hack can be in a situation where you're finding yourself in a position where you're not able to figure out that why do I want to do PhD in the sub discipline of this major discipline. Do what? Go to the website and make a correlation. Now go to the website, read about the person you're interested in, read about the group you're interested in, where you envision yourself to be working, or where you envision yourself to be guided by the guide. You can take out the person as your role model, right? So think about the person as your role model and think, what are the capabilities I must have to work with this person, and then read what the person is doing work on, and then read about the person, what the person has obtained his degree from or her degree from, right? Read about, if any interview of that person is available, read about his motivation, her motivation. So make a correlation here, okay, that I want to work with you, I have gone through you ample times, and I know this is the thing your group is working on, these are the loopholes. I was so interested in cancer biology during my masters that I was pursuing plant biology, but at the same time I went through like many of the research papers, and I myself have created a research proposal, and I made a research proposal based on the fact that what this person is doing. And then I just what happens is, when you read and reread, there are some connections which get built up in your brain. So what happens is you start discovering something. So I found out some of the loophole which was small enough, so I took that as my basis, and then I wrote the research paper, and to my surprise the person liked it very much. So you can do this also. And then comes, be very cautious. I can told you cautious, I'm sorry for the spelling. So this piece of paper can make or break your selection, so be very cautious and do not make silly mistakes, and try to articulate things, try to have a connection between the paragraphs. Although I'll share my SOP, so there you can see what are the interconnections between the one and the successive paragraphs. Then comes my suggestion, why you are interested. The answer should never be the fact that you want to utilize your fellowship. See, it happens in many cases that you have the JRF has a period of 2 years that you have to take admission in any place, but for that you can't waste, I would say, waste your 5 to 6 years or 5 years in a PhD, right? So the interest or the fact or the reason behind your PhD should never be the fact that you want to utilize your fellowship. Take your time. There are many videos suggesting that if you're not ready for PhD yet, go for a project. If you're not ready for a PhD yet, do and prepare for some other competitive exam, okay? So it should never be that you want to utilize your fellowship. Then comes, have you done any internship somewhere? Like, where did the idea of doing PhD or doing this program sparked? So have you done any internship? You can mention that there in your SOP. And then summarize your academic background. In your academic background, write the relevant coursework. Say, for example, you're going to work in the Department of Biochemistry and you had done some enzyme linked essays. You have done some enzyme related experiments, and you have done some titration, or you have discovered the activity of some drug, so lethal dose of a drug. So you can mention clearly that I have observed this and that. If you have worked on Michaelis-Menten equation, okay, in any experiment, so you can write all the relevant things in the SOP. Then comes, have you done any technical project? This I mentioned because if any
person happens to counter this video who is from like MTech background or BTech background, so that person has to mention clearly what is their technical project and what took them to this place. Okay, so technical project, again, you can mention about. For biotechnology people also applies. If you have done any project, just mention it. And then work experience, have you worked somewhere? Because so many people, they are very interested in research. They're so much research oriented that they start working after your masters, or even if they are not able to qualify the exam, they just start working in the laboratories. And while working in the laboratories, they, because they were passionate enough, they are able to publish the papers. And because they are able to publish the papers, this gives them the power to write or mention that I have published so and so paper. Okay, I have contributed to so and so research group. So work experience also you can mention in your SOP. And then see what happens is, like, what sparked your interest. What happens is, like, this is not a required slide here, but then also okay, it's fine. So you had to, this was a slide which was supposed to be there in the starting. So definition of SOP: introduction, field of interest, a bit of background as to what sparked your interest. You can just keep it in your head that this is all we have talked till now. Okay, these are all the things which I've talked till now. And then comes, have you led any team? Was there any situation where you led any team? Say for example, BTech people, they do what, uh, like if they have robotics, if they have some competitions, they can lead any team. Like, there are people who are presidents of different teams. So have you led any team like that? Have you attended some conference where you were representing, out of so many people from your place, you were the main head? Have you led any team? So this shows your leadership as well as your cooperative quality, because in your lab you're not going to be a single student, there'll be multiple students. This shows that what kind of a person are you, how cooperative are you, and how well you can gel across with people in a group. Okay, and then comes learning attitude. This is so very important, because see, this is though they can figure out after talking to you only. But then also you can mention that the, if after masters you're not sitting idle and you started working in the laboratories, you just roam around in different places which were associated to your work, your interest in some or the other manner. This itself shows that you have a learning attitude. You can't just sit back. Okay, and then comes responsibilities. How responsible are you? It's not only your work. Sometimes the other student takes leave and you have to take care of their work as well. Sometimes the other student has some emergency, you have to take care of their work as well. Sometimes some emergency comes in the lab. So how responsible are you? Again, a part of SOP. Okay, research experience, which I already mentioned, this is very important. There should be synergy between you and your university. Of course, there should be something in you which makes you compatible, which makes you important for that university, right? If you want to work, say for example, in cell biology and membrane trafficking, so you must have done, if you must have done some work in past in this field, then it shows that there is some synergy, there is some articulation between you and your university. Okay, for an SOPs, it should always have a positive ending, because this shows your attitude. Okay, so while writing a SOP, you should always remember that it should have a positive ending. Okay, and the ending should be open always. And one tip here I can give you, that read the research papers whichsoever are mentioned, published in good journals. Just read about them. They'll have an open question ending. They'll have an ending which will leave you thinking that okay, what can happen next. So that is the quality of a good work, because that ignites you. Okay, so SOP must always have a positive ending. And 5 steps, and now I'm summarizing it. I have written some 5 steps. So if till now it was not helpful for you, then from now it will be helpful. Okay, so do what? Take a blank paper. First one, write what is your unique story, what makes you you, what are your experiences, why do you want to get a PhD at all, why do you want to take this much toll on your mental health, your physical health. If the reason is not utilizing your fellowship, then you must be having a strong background reason. Okay, so what's your unique story, why do you want to do PhD? And the second one is brainstorm ideas. So how can you brainstorm ideas? Based on what can you brainstorm ideas is, elaborate academic interest. What were your favorite subjects? What were the subjects which you can't get you know you can't get fulfilled of, or you don't think that you felt like reading and rereading those subjects? First one, your past subjects as to what were your favorite subjects. Second is research interest. We every now and then we read about so many researches and news. Now we have so many Instagram pages. We have so many websites where we can just update ourselves from the research articles, whatever is happening around us. But not say for example, I encountered some 10 or 12 researches today, but I will not be clicking on each one of them and reading in detail. I'll read only those in detail which spark my interest. So, what is your research interest? Just think about that. And then comes third, prepare a basic framework. Basic framework is formed of an outline, your points, it makes the backbone. Okay. So, what happens is just write the outline. Say for example, you have written like from your childhood, just write it. Just nobody's gonna check you, okay? Just write it and write an outline and just bold the points which are relevant, which you think are relevant. And the fourth one is refine the language. This is very important because the other person has to read it, and they are getting so many SOPs. So why your SOP should stand out, and you should make it clear that your SOP is above a lot many people. So sophisticated vocabulary should be there. Proofread your SOP. You yourself can do it. You can send it to another people to proofread that. Sometimes what happens is when we write, we overlook. See, for example, I have made this presentation, so there was a spelling mistake. I overlooked it, right? It's not the fact that I haven't seen it before I started the recording. I saw it. But what happens is I just overlooked it. So proofread SOP yourself or send it to another person. So your SOP must be within word limit. I have emphasized it again and again. So remember it. And the fifth one, the last one is share and take feedback. Share it to people. It never happens that somebody will copy your SOP, right? Just take feedback from other person that whatever you have written, is there any articulation, is there any relation between the paragraphs, or just bragged about something. It happens because when we start writing, we feel like we have to impress the other party, so we start writing which are unreal. So yeah, take feedback, share it, and then the keep repeating is just fine. What is the bonus tip is start early. So for example, if you have to submit your SOP next year or 6 months later, just start early. From today onwards, just start writing a skeleton, at least an outline for the SOP. Okay, you have known enough about the SOP, how to write it and all of this. Now start. Now your only problem is you're not able to begin, so start your small mini writer's journey. Start writing it. Then comes also, if you cannot figure out, there is a third thing. Okay, so first I told you about everything, like how to do it in a like very diffused manner. Then I told you what are the 5 tips which I'm sharing. This is the third one, that is, if you cannot figure out till now, list down all your credentials on a piece of paper, build a story. Okay, list down all the credentials, your masters, your bachelors, whatever the projects you have done, what all debates, what all scientific events you have organized, participated, everything. Just write down all the credentials on a piece of paper. Now build a story. Okay, you have all the points with you, build a story now. And good luck guys, here I present my SOP and I'll be showing you my SOP. Just 1 minute. So this is my SOP when I applied to PGI Lucknow, and I'm sharing it with all of you people. Do one thing, you can take screenshot, or you can, yeah, you can take screenshot, and then you can examine that what I tried writing and how I articulated each of the paragraph. This one I wrote in 2018 when I completed my masters. So a lot has changed since then in my life also. But yeah, then I was naive, but I tried to be as honest as possible. I have written in the third paragraph that though I never had the opportunity to master molecular biology techniques like DNA RNA extraction, I didn't know any of that at that time. Okay, now though I know a lot of it. So all of these, and but I have confidence of the fact that I've read about all of these. I was not afraid to mention this, but they asked questions from this also, and I'm proud of the fact that I was able to defend the medical committee, which was comprising some 15 to 16 doctors, and it was so intimidating because I was from botany background. They all were like, they wanted to roast me that why do I want to do PhD in that stream. So yeah, I was selected, everything happened. Okay, that's a different story. Till now I think it was helpful for you people, and please write in the comment section and please let me know how helpful it was. And I have taken some questions. Some 6 people have responded to the Instagram like question where I raised a question asking that what are your doubts. So majority of them were like how to write a SOP for foreign universities and what are the integral components. I think integral components you are getting from this. In the next second video, part 2 of this one, what I'll do is I'll share one SOP which is concerned with a foreign university. Okay, and how to go about writing an SOP for a foreign university. See, the points are same. What I'll do is I'll just make it a little more, because there it becomes a lot more competitive. You have to prove yourself to the raised to the power of 1,000. So yeah, then we'll meet with the next video, and do let me know if you want to have these ICMR videos, and I can make general science videos for you people, like a compilation of some 200 250 questions of general sciences, although I'm planning to do it anyways. But yeah, you can also tell me how helpful it will be for you people. And also, I haven't released that DBT, like predicting the cutoff marks, because that didn't resonate with my mind. I think I feel like because students build expectations. What happens is whenever you release these kinds of videos, students are like, okay, fine, this will happen, that will happen. So they start building expectations, and I don't want that to happen. Giving exam, studying for the exam is your work, and after that, just do not anticipate anything. Result aayega dekha jayega. Okay. So okay, with this note, thank you everybody, and keep supporting and keep studying, and keep telling me what are the future videos you want, because I think I have a lot of information till now. I've gathered a lot of information, but one is time constraint, second is it takes a huge amount of effort to make these videos. So yeah, but I'll continue. I'll do this how to prepare NII for NII interview soon, because I think it's approaching. So yeah, thank you, and I think you will be able to write an SOP. Please let me know if you are, and how clear this video was, and what improvements do you want in my video. So thank you everybody.